So hi guys, we are out here at Malibu Compost Farms with Randy Ritchie. If you've been watching our videos, the last one we touched on in biodynamics, organics. Well, in this one we're going to talk about really where is all that going. So Randy, you kind of illustrated Rudolf Steiner and the background of him with biodynamics. We talked a little bit about organics, but let's go deeper. Let's go deeper with where that's going and what that really means.
Okay, for me, and thanks for having me again.
Oh, absolutely.
One thing I love is you have been a huge advocate for Malibu. You've been a huge advocate for organics. You've been a huge advocate now for true organic. I can always count on you, so thank you.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. That's what makes it all complete.
That's a huge thing. You know, keep the people that you can count on your hands, that you can count on. Okay, those are important people.
Right.
So I think where this is all going, and I think what's really important about this is that we're at a place now where we have to think about how are we going to spend our dough? Are we going to buy it all? Are we going to cut out the fast food, the fat, the crap that's making our bodies sick? And are we going to go with organic food? Are we going to go with real non-GMO food? Are we going to do that in our bodies and in our soil? Are we going to be able to try to learn as best we can to supply food for our families or for our neighbors? I grow so much food at my house. I grow enough food for us and enough food for our other family members that live around us. So I share food.
Me too. Our garden as well.
And I love that. That's a really great thing because I know then members of my family, if there is a food shortage, or if they're having a tough time financially, or or if they're ill, if there's any kind of sickness. And we just came through COVID, you guys, and now we have the baby versions of COVID that are out there. I had the big first version of COVID and got very sick, and it caused me some real damage to my heart and to my lungs, and I'm dealing with that. And I thank God that I was growing healthy food, and that that we had healthy soil and we had seeds that we had saved. And because I think had I not had enough health and enough nutrition in my body, and enough spiritual wherewithal in my body, I would have died 2 months ago.
I'm glad you did.
Glad
you did.
Yeah, me too. And so here I am at the farm, and because what I've been putting in my body is mostly true organic, from real organic seed stock or heirloom seeds, from soil that's been inoculated with the biology that's in Booze Blend Compost, and with the compost teas that we make, and some different kelp blends that we use, and with the biodynamic preparations, which are botanical inoculations that do so many different things to different relationships in the soil. So that I'm lucky because I have very potent soil, which I think helps, and very nutritious soil, which in turn also gives me nutritious food. So like right down the street where I get this manure, like right behind us, that's a fresh pile of manure that we brought in. It's manure and wood chips. And we basically put that into these big windrows. Right down the street, less than a mile, is a beautiful organic valley dairy, Sarben Farms. It's a third generation dairy, incredible care for their animals. What's beautiful there is it's all non-GMO feed. It's all beautiful pasture grasses and hays, 100% true organic. They know I test everything. So how they treat the cows live in a very, very beautiful environment, a beautiful space.
So not to interrupt you, but I want to catch this spot. Don't they even have a perimeter where there's no spray nearby can basically touch their fields?
100%. All through that area and all through this whole area are no spray signs. We're in an organic section of our county. So like Farmer Brown, there's us. This is an organic farm. Go that way, you've got the organic dairy. So we're all enclosed in this no spray zone, which is really important because so when we do our toxicology panels looking for the compounds in pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, we don't have them detected because we're in a no spray zone and because the food that the cows are eating is clean. So we're getting the benefit of what's happening in their stomachs, how alive the bacteria and the biology is in their stomachs, what we use with this in our gardens, and then what's uptaken into the plant as nutrient that we get to eat in the soft leafy tissue of the plant. So there's a relationship to all of it. You know, it's not just, oh, I'm going to go to Home Depot and buy a bag of soil. Oh, that's expensive. It's $10. I'm going to get the $4 bag. Well, let me tell you what you're getting with a $4 bag of soil. You would be better off chopping up one of your walls and some wood and throwing that in the ground, okay? At least you'd have some gypsum and some wood, okay? Some forest product, because that stuff is crap. So don't buy it. And the people that tell you, you know, flip bags over and look and see what the ingredients are. Flip boxes over in the store. You know, you have all these products now that say non-GMO with the non-GMO verified project. It's a butterfly. It may as well be a unicorn. You know, why isn't it organic? Why is it non-GMO? Because there's nothing in there that would be a GMO. That's why they're tricking you. So when I was a young squirt and I was in college, I studied advertising and marketing. And let me tell you something, guys. They're bamboozling you, okay? And that's why I do what I do, because I don't like getting bamboozled, okay? I don't like getting swindled. I like the real deal. I like real stuff. And that's what true organic is. That's why what you're gonna see on the bottom of our bags now, it's gonna also read biodynamic, organic, natural, and non-GMO. We're the first soil company that got that through with the CDFA and with ODA in Oregon. Not a third-party certifier, but us sending in our labs and saying to them, you tell us why we shouldn't have this on our bags. And they couldn't tell us why, so they're putting it on the bags. So by the end of the year, you'll see all of our, once we go through all the other bags that we still have in inventory, the new bags will have non-GMO, organic, and natural on them besides vitamin.
Wow, that's huge, Randy. That's huge. And the whole GMO things, you know, I tell people there's 3 pillars in our life existing. You look at the plants, the grasses, the trees around us, like we talked about earlier, and our human bodies. You know, the 3 things that we all need to survive: water, photosynthesis, and food. The plants, the growth around us doesn't have that. You and I don't have that. We cease to exist. So there's a common chain there. So break down that food cycle, Randy.
Well, the other great part of the food cycle too is then, you know, and then once we have the plants and we have the flowers as our pollinators, huge thing, you know. And it's funny, we have a fountain in the middle of one of our raised bed areas. We have about 12 raised beds in an area with a big, beautiful fountain. I still am a landscaper at heart and a designer, so I still like things to be pretty. I know I don't look like somebody who would design anything, but I really love pretty stuff. And so what's really cool is our pollinators, our bees and our hummingbirds come to the edge of our fountain because I have the pump set so it's not too hard, but they can get to there and they can get water. And then they're back out to the flowers. They're back out doing their job. And it's like, I feel like we're all doing this together. We're all in it together, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really important. And that's, you know, like, I feel like making good compost, because one of the problems for most people, I want you all to make compost. Most people at home can't make enough compost. I know I can't. I have 2 really bitchin' compost bins at home, but I need to augment my compost production at home. So what do I use? I use Boo. And I mix compost, and I use a lot of compost teas, and I do a lot of, I'll do, you know, we grow comfrey. I'll make a comfrey tea. We grow different things that then gets nutrient into our food, and we get into that food cycle that I derive in my body and in my gut and in my gut health as I'm processing. And it's all part of it goes back to the water, the photosynthesis, the plant life, the pollinators. It goes back to the whole cycle again, and I'm just part of the cycle, you know. And so what can I bring to the party? You know, I create a nice environment. This farm, as in the morning or in the evening, the level of bird life here is phenomenal. Right there at our well house is we have all these swallows that breed here.
And they're happy.
They're so happy.
Uh-huh.
And they come down and they check us out and they go, yeah, it's those guys. They know we're not going to hurt them. They know we let them nest in here, and they're in a beautiful spot that stays warm and dry, and there's water close by, and there's lots of. When I turn the compost piles or we bring in new manure, it's so great because I'll scoop it up with a bucket, and there'll be worms in the soil, and then you should see the birds just converge on that area and just like. And then they go and they eat, and then I'll go dump my load. Like I'm building a windrow right there behind you, and I'll dump the load. And by the time I come back, the birds go, "Oh, he's back." They scoot over to the next windrow, watch me, and then they're like in there, and we're all just kind of doing our thing. It's such a beautiful thing to see how nature wants to work with us.
Good synergy.
Yeah.
Good synergy. Wow. So that was a mouthful. And we can talk so much about organics, and we will. We don't want to bore you in long drawn out videos, so stay with us. There's so much information behind this farm I know you are all going to love and appreciate. So thanks again for that one, Randy. I can't wait for more. Grow happy. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.